The term walking simulator is a rather immature and arguably derogatory way to define games where the player's goal is to wander around an environment with limited interactivity with the game's world. At times, it seems to contradict the importance of the interactive medium, and in some cases, it completely removes the essence of what a game should be entirely. But that's not to say that there is a right or wrong way to make a game, in fact, far from it. Minimalism can make a gaming experience more impactful as a result, depending on the context of the game's intentions as either a piece of storytelling or as an emotional experience. The walking simulator is only a recent trend in independent game development. Its existence has very much been justified and arguably at times challenges game-making principles in general. So you know what? Let's look at my top 5 walking simulators. Number 5, The Beginner's Guide. Davey Whedon has had a very creative, insightful, and rather original contribution to the independent market, and arguably furthered our understanding of postmodern game design. The Beginner's Guide explores the theory of the game-making auteur by examining game creations both complex and unfinished to try and understand a character named Coda and their relationship with Whedon, who serves as the game's narrator. It's worth noting it's a very acquired taste given the game's abstract exploration of the relationship between developers, their games, and the audience they communicate with. But at the same time, it's a great way to understand the thinking and complexity behind why games are made in such a specific way. It also highlights the social and philosophical importance that creations can have on people. It's a personal journey that manages to make sense of surreal and intellectual ideas. Number 4, The Stanley Parable. I'm going to go back a bit to Davey Whedon and William Pugh's acclaimed, thought-provoking and experimental game, The Stanley Parable. What started as a source mod and eventually remade into its own standalone IP, The Stanley Parable is about the importance of choice and decision-making. Directed by a voiceover narrator, the player can choose to follow the conventional predetermined path or diverge from the norm and follow their own path, which effectively influences the direction the game goes. It might sound just as pretentious as The Beginner's Guide, but it's actually driven by clever satire that pokes fun at the game playing experience. For an art game, it has a wonderful personality that keeps you engaged and enjoying the narrative throughout. It breaks the fourth wall by having actor Kevin Briding narrate Stanley's thoughts and pointing out what Stanley ought to do, but the game never dictates that you have to do as you're told, making the narrator sarcastically remark on your own decision making. It takes the idea of having a boring, structured routine and actively encourages you to side against it, leading to interesting, unpredictable, and satisfying payoffs. Number 3, Firewatch. Despite being a very recent release, Firewatch has shown that literally walking around an empty forest can be far more engaging than you might expect. After a very emotional introduction, you play as Henry, a man trying to find solace in a peaceful and beautiful forest reserve where you spent the summer of '89 as a volunteer fire lookout. During your time, you befriend a lady named Delilah who watches over the forest in another lookout tower directly across from yours. Much of the game has Henry doing trivial tasks as he builds his relationship with Delilah over a walkie-talkie, the only form of contact he has with the world. It's up to you to respond to Delilah using a dialogue tree that influences Henry's personality and the emotional connection between the two characters. It's a short but sweet experience as you humbly get to know Henry and Delilah's lovable and funny personalities, but also face some heavy emotional revelations along the journey. What starts as a way of finding harmony and peace in a controlled, isolated wilderness soon becomes a tense and unnerving experience as something mysterious lurks around the forest, making you question both your safety and your sanity. If you're looking for a simple, contained narrative with incredibly well-written characters, constant gorgeous visuals, and are happy to deal with sudden ambiguity, I highly recommend Firewatch as an accessible and touching interactive experience. Number 2, Gone Home. There is no denying the impact that Fulbright's Gone Home has had on independent gaming. This was the game that effectively brought walking simulators to mainstream attention with its intelligent, thought-provoking, and emotionally enthralling storytelling. I've always said games have the uniqueness of telling stories through their environment in a non-linear and natural way that distinguishes them from other forms of narrative delivery, and Gone Home is an exceptional example of this. Set in 1995, Gone Home focuses on the player returning home to find an empty house where they must navigate through each brilliantly and naturally constructed room, picking up objects and documents that enlighten their understanding of both the story and the people that live there. The player never feels restricted as they explore the massive house, and everything feels wonderfully authentic, making you relate to the environment you explore. It truly is one of those games that you learn something new each time you play. It never feels like you're going through a game world, but rather somebody's real house. It's atmospheric, and at times the haunting emptiness keeps you on your toes as you empathetically uncover the secrets hidden throughout. Number 1. Journey. Arguably, Journey can be seen more as a platformer than a walking simulator, but that's honestly besides the point. Effectively, Journey is one of the most perfect games ever made in terms of its originality, visual style, interactivity, sound, and composition. When somebody says it's more about the journey than the destination, sometimes that's completely just a cop-out to justify an unsatisfying conclusion, but Journey is genuinely the definition of an experience. As you venture throughout the endless desert, you come across some truly captivating and wondrous structures to explore. It's how the art, camera work, and sound heighten the experience that absorbs you in to see where your journey may take you. I think my words ultimately do little justice for a game that truly excels as an emotional interactive experience. Journey undoubtedly has some of gaming's most memorable and enlightening moments that will forever stand the test of time. Hi guys, thanks for watching. Sorry that there's no witness video this week. As I was working on it, it turned out to be a far more complex video than I imagined. But if you're on Facebook, go like me there. If you're on Twitter, same thing, go follow me. Also, if you're not subscribed already, do consider it because we have a new video every Thursday. Until next time, stay safe and I'll see you all very shortly.